All right, now we're looking at the expense section of personal expenses. Now we are in the best section, your personal costs, and what your budget should really work on reducing. So, to be in contact with everybody, we're going to need to start off with a cellular device. This goes for the big phone brands, usually known as Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. And as we all know how much phones cost, as well as just to keep the data and cellular service going for these phones, are outrageous. The average service cost with unlimited data within the US is $71.25. And that's just service alone. That's not the phone on top of it or whatever your situation may be. So we have the phone next. There's top brands like Apple, America's favorite, Samsung, Nokia, Motorola, with the average phone costing around $633. But keep in mind, the new iPhone 12 mini is just alone $800. That iPhone that you really wanted, that iPhone Pro Max 12, is going to bring in about $42 a month. And maybe you wanted to trade in your last iPhone, and that would be $28 with a trade-in. But they get you wrapped in on these new 24-month contracts. So add that to your phone cost alone, and you're looking at $125 a month there. I always say, keep in mind, look for those new drops, the promotions that come through. Really make sure that you're able to see what is out there before you lock in on a piece of equipment. Think it all through. Really, really, really think it all through, because this is what is just outrageous. In order to keep communication, you're going to need to spend over $100 a month. There's brilliant services out there like Mint Mobile that comes in at $15 on the low to $30 for unlimited data, uses the same cell reception and same cell towers as most of these other ones, and you can bring in your own phone or you can go out and buy one. But as always, most of these plans with these top phone services and brands, they let you finance with 0% interest as long as you're wrapped in on one of those monthly contracts. So what I recommend to do is look for those deals, look for those sales, because sometimes it's buy one get one iPhone or buy one get one Samsung that was coming out recently with my local stores. Think about that. Maybe you can sell one of your phones and pay for half a year or a quarter of a year's cell phone services and charges. So we have personal payments. Maybe you owe somebody something. You have payments for an individual, an obligation. Maybe somebody lent you $100 and you're giving them $20 a month back, and for the next 5 months you're in debt to them. Maybe you support somebody, a family member, or you give to others. Maybe you're on child support and you need to put aside $200, $300, $400 a month for your child because of a situation that arose. Whatever that is, just think about your personal payments and what you might owe somebody else or owe a system. Next, we all need clothing. And as Laguna Capital loves Mr. Wonderful, he states, look into buying things that can last rather than cheap and plentiful. But also, everybody has a style. So let's keep to our personal choices. What one person says about this is somebody else's opinion, that they don't like that or that they think it's brilliant, whatever that is. And in the clothing section, remember to include random dress wear for events. Maybe you need new shoes every few months. Maybe you go running and you go skating, or maybe you have a workout shoe and a work shoe, and you have a typical shoe that you just wear around town. And whatever the situation is, really think about everything that involves what your dress wear or clothing wears are or are needed. Next, are you doing fitness? Do you work out at home, at a gym, elsewhere? I always recommend, look at those local gyms, maybe some of the big chains. Do you have a personal trainer? Whatever it is, look for the promotions that exist. Buy it. Also, maybe you want a home gym. buy it and it's yours forever. It holds its value. You can sell it at a garage sale. You can sell it on Facebook or online to get back half of your value or even more than half. Think about what offers that are out there. Many offer a $1 promotion to get you in the door, or others offer $10 a month, and it's a lot better and more equipment and more resources that you have at your disposal if you decide to go with that. Maybe you need that personal trainer. Otherwise, download one of those apps on your phone, pay $5 for it, and you now have a $5 personal trainer every single morning or whenever you want, and up to your discretion. Also, think about fitness. There's meditation, there's yoga, there's community programs, sports clubs, sports teams, whatever it may be. Really think about that, because fitness is entertainment as well. Fitness is health, and health is wealth. Maybe you have hobbies. What do you do? Some people like to go to gun ranges and shoot guns. Other people like to collect glass. Some people like to make memes on their computer. Some people are car people and spend thousands of dollars on lowering a car or souping up an engine, whatever it is. Other people love sports teams. You're a fantasy football individual, or you need to put on that new, Arizona Cardinals t-shirt because you're living life and you need to support your team. Whatever it is, it's always a hobby. But always remember to monetize your hobbies as well. Make money off of those. Do you bicycle with a club? Maybe you go mountain biking, or you go road biking, or you just ride a bike to and from different green belts that are around your town. Do you enjoy creating new things or new devices? Maybe you enjoy 3D printing, or whatever the situation is or may be. Maybe you enjoy cooking and you love to cook cookies all day long and make cookies, but really you don't eat them, so you give them out to neighbors, to families. Monetize that. Say, hey, would you guys mind tossing me $5 this time for the cookies, and I'll make you guys 2 dozen of them? A way better deal than the Girl Scout cookies on the corner. Entertainment. What do you do for entertainment? Some people like to stream gamers, listen to music, follow specific social media people. Whatever your entertainment is, think about it. It's your personal entertainment. This could be miscellaneous websites that are out there. You see a rise in apps called OnlyFans, things like that, that you can see your friends and what they do. Maybe they have a cooking show on there. Whatever the situation is, really think about what your personal entertainment may be. Maybe you just listen to music all day long and you have Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube music, whatever those situations are, that start adding on miscellaneous subscription fees. And also, maybe you have funny art or things that you do for your passions. Do you play with toys? Do you have dice in a mirror? Whatever it is, whatever your personal entertainment is. Maybe you like hydraulics on a car, or you really enjoy spray painting, or whatever the situation is. Really think about what your personal entertainment is, because we all like to have fun, to put a smile on our face, that release of dopamine, and that's what matters at the end of the day towards health. And health is wealth, like we'll state again. Maybe you donate charitable contributions. Do you have a religious following, and there's a basket that goes around and you give a couple dollars there or here? Maybe you donate to a local community. You have a dodgeball team. You have a Girl Scout cookies type dynamic going on, or whatever the situation is. Do you donate? Is there a local community? Maybe you give $1 to every homeless individual on the corner. Or maybe there's family members that are in their choir and they're raising money so that they can go to New York or something like that. Or maybe there's that cookie drive like I talked about with Girl Scout cookies and whatnot. Do you want to see a change in this world? People that are doing changes or trying to make a change, they need charitable contributions. They need other individuals to come and assist and help out to really promote and grow, just like us. That's why we have an affiliate code. We want to help everybody in the United States and onward. So with that being said, let's try and help one another. We do charitable contributions just as well. You may have paid for this course, but guess what? A percentage of it is going towards another individual that may have been under that month on wages and couldn't afford it. So we gave them the course for free. Or maybe we're helping out a local homeless individual get back on their feet with a haircut. Or we're developing a story about them so that other people can see and to help and to donate. It's all about giving. It's all about giving, not receiving. And that's what I really want people to understand moving forward. And that's what we're created on. We want to give back to the world, not take away. Maybe have a pen pal, or you donate to an ox or some chickens to a local community farm, or maybe it's across the world in Africa and you're donating the ox so that an individual can now help carry all of their food consumption up a hill instead of on their backs, things like that. It's all about charitable contributions. So next, there's personal taxes that you have to have. Maybe you do a 1099. Do you have, or are you budgeting in your taxes? Because at the end of the year, you're either going to be hit with a lot of money that you were not aware of, that you may not even have in your bank account. So we always recommend having a 1099 savings. As I've talked about earlier, there's Uber, DoorDash, all of these things, all of these miscellaneous capital making things, they do not take out taxes. So that's very important for you to move forward. Ask, because every company that gives you money up until a certain amount of money will send you a 1099 form so that you can do your taxes. Maybe reading all of those little contracts for the work so that you're very aware whether or not you need to pay taxes, or if there's extra taxes on the benefits that you've earned. Maybe you have some cash earnings from side jobs that must be reported on your tax returns. Even if they're minimal, $1, $5, $600, whatever it is. You really should be thinking about it. Maybe somebody gave you a gift of a large amount of capital or a vehicle or whatever that is. Have tax stashes. Save a little money aside because you never know what's going to happen. So, with that being said, with 1099, we need to understand what our tax liability is. So, taxes on your base plus the percentage of excess over the base multiplied by the taxable income minus your base salary. And that's what you will owe for your tax liability. Any payment received over $600, you should have received a 1099 form. If you're a freelancer or a contractor and received more than $600 from any side job that you did during that year, that individual company or that individual that paid you generally should supply you with form 1099 miscellaneous, as in miscellaneous income. Payers will also need to send this form to the IRS, so be aware that, oh, maybe I don't have to pay this because it was a little here, a little there, and they're not going to report it. They will report it to the IRS, and that's the worst individual to come into. So, what I want to really think about is, I'll give you an example before I go into this. Opening up an account. You really need to open up an LLC, a business account, whatever it is, because you can use allowable deductions to trim your tax bills. Business expenses reduce the amount of taxable income, lowering your tax bill, and you can deduct certain expenses from self-employment income, or that 1099. So let's use a random example that we found. Eric Lorenzo is a banker by day and a rideshare driver by night in San Diego, California. He tracks the mileage on his car related to his rideshare, and he takes that income and deducts that portion for mileage, which includes maintenance, gas, insurance costs, and at tax time. So, having a side job, he says, gives me fun money. Okay, that's great, and it accounts for 20% of his income per year. He says, here in San Diego, it's hard to live on only one full-time job. So, what Eric needs to do is determine the difference between your expenses So, what are your ordinary expenses? Are those that are just common and accepted for your business? Then there are necessary expenses. Those are helpful and adequate for your business. This is now in any situation. A ski teacher might deduct their ski boots as an ordinary expense. A landscaper might deduct rent for storage space used to store the landscaping tools and equipment. While a storage place may not be required for the landscaping, it can still be deducted as a necessary expense because it's helpful to the business. Some common deductible expenses related to your side gigs should include business portions of your house. Maybe you have one room that's your business room. You can deduct that. Business mileage on your car. Maybe you have and you drive 20 miles to work and back. That's 40 miles that you can deduct. Maybe you have dues and subscriptions paid to business related organizations. Are there necessary tools and equipment? Maybe there's tuition for a related education example. That's something that you should really think about. Look into deductible expenses for your tax savings. So, for example, you earned $10,000 for a self-employment side job. Your deductible expenses now are $3,000. You then would owe taxes on only $7,000. That would be your taxable income. We recommend checking out TurboTax, as there are many tax credits and deductions that are able to be used, as you will find out further with your exploration on TurboTax. So, trip fund section. Are you planning on visiting a new country, an adventure to new territories or national parks? Do you have a travel fund set up? Maybe you wanted to spend a day hiking, going out to town, maybe a trip to a friend's house that happens to be a few hours away, whatever the dynamic is. Maybe you want to further educate yourself with museum trips, or maybe you want to go to the Caribbeans, or even South America, to Europe, to wherever it may be. Do you have a travel fund, a personal travel fund? With that being said, a typical trip spent within the United States was roughly around $1,600 for a week stay. Keep in mind, there's hotel costs, there's travel costs, there's multiple other costs, food because you can't cook for yourself, so you go out and about, different dynamics like that. The average cost per trip outside of the United States per week was roughly about $2,244. With that being said, that's anywhere from just traveling and crossing borders to booking a flight to a foreign country, whatever the destination is that is outside the US, you see a huge increase in that cost. But also keep in mind that the average cost of Europe or Australia is roughly about $125 per day minus your flights. You say, that's kind of cheap, but you have to understand hostels exist for a reason. When you travel abroad, you'll notice there's different expenses that are a lot higher than in the United States, and you'll notice a lot of expenses that are a lot lower. Most of these foreign countries tend to base themselves off of tourism, and that's what their revenue makers are. So they tend to cut prices in half, or they lower the price to entice you to come in and then upsell you in different other dynamics and other ways, trips, things like that with taxes. So we always recommend having a travel fund. You have to enjoy life, get out, see different things. Maybe your view changes completely based off of a trip to Mexico, or maybe your views change based off of a trip to Europe because you understand that there's different levels of social dynamics, or maybe you just want to go for a pub rally in Ireland or wherever the situation is. We always recommend having a travel fund just to put some money aside and then one day hopefully explore the world. All right, now we're moving back to the Excel file on budget time expense section for personal costs. Like we talked about, our cell phone is going to cost us about $125. That's the phone as well as the service included. And the example that I gave, we're going to use personal payments of $20 a month. Maybe my clothing, I'm gonna budget about, let's call it $30 a month. Three new 10, 3 new t-shirts at $10 a piece. My fitness is going to bring in about $25 a month. That's saying that I decided to, purchase a little in-home equipment as well. And that cost me $300. So I'm just taking that cost and dividing it by 12. My hobbies and supplies, I'm really into cars, so that's going to be about $200 a month, which is pretty high. Miscellaneous hobbies as well. Next, we have entertainment. I have personal entertainment costs. I love my Apple Music, ranging a couple dollars here. I like my entertainment of, clicking and sponsoring miscellaneous things. So let's just call that a $20 charge there. Next, I am very charitable, so I give $1 a day to somebody. And, I'm doing all these side gigs, side taxes, or excuse me, side gigs, side work, things like that. So now I'm going to owe quite a bit in taxes. So I will personally put aside $125 a month in taxes. And if I can deduct as much as I can, that's just money in my pocket after I stretch that out for the 12 years. And I really want to go travel, so I put aside 100 US dollars. And the next is your other, whatever your other expenses may be. We're going to slide back over to the expense section, and you can see just alone, wow, my personal, what my hobbies are, what I like to do. It's pretty crazy right now. We're looking at quite a bit of money right there just in personal expenses, almost $700. But when you take that math, let's just call it $700 for now, or let's leave it at $675. Divide that by 12, you're looking at, about, or excuse me, not by 12. You're looking at dividing that by the 4 weeks that are in the month. You're looking at about $170 in just personal exploration, personal fun, whatever the situation is. And like we said, if it's for personal, maybe monetize it. Maybe do whatever you can to start making $1 or